Hello, good evening. Am I audible?
Yes.
Can I start now?
Yes, Kanu sir, you can start now.
Okay. I welcome you all of you to this uh, class on Master of Anthropology. And today we are going to discuss about the history and development of physical anthropology under Block 1. And under this, am I clear and is it clearly audible? Can anyone can respond? Okay, today we are going to start on the definition and scope of physical anthropology, relationship of physical anthropology with other disciplines, and applied dimension 1 and applied dimension 2. As you know that actually anthropology is a holistic discipline and is concerned about all aspects of human being. Particularly this branch of anthropology deals with the biological aspects of man. Earlier it was termed as physical anthropology, now it is termed as a biological anthropology. It is primarily studied about the physical or biological aspects of human beings. Is it all right? Is it my voice is reaching there? Samiranjan, can you hear
Yes,
me?
sir. Yes, sir.
My voice is clear?
Clear, sir.
Okay. So have you, any one of you, means you can tell me that actually, if you have any background in biology, then I don't think so that you will not have any issue with respect to this paper. However, need not be worried about this because as you know that anthropology is a very, it deals with not that hardcore biology, very fundamental biology, and as I have already told you that it is a, it is that branch of anthropology which deals about the physical aspects of man traditionally. Now it is speaking about the biology of a human being. So you will find that human biology and physical anthropology go side by side. Sometimes it is you can say placed synonymously, but they are not exactly same. And when you look at this particular discipline, it is one of the major domain of anthropology, or you can say that it has its roots and traditions quite distinct when you think about United States of America, Europe, and Indian context. So when you think about still it is continuing as a physical anthropology in USA and in some UK universities, but most of the institutions across the globe they have shifted to biological anthropology. So how this particular branch has evolved. So in order to understand this, we have to know about the historical development, its branches, its relations with other disciplines, and its two applications, the traditional applications and the most recent applications. So coming to this, when you look at anthropology, its origin as a discipline, it comes very late. But traditionally, it is understood that anthropology means physical anthropology. We will come across in this literature also. You have gone through this literature, you will have come across that anthropology before it's coming into as an independent discipline, particularly in the Western world, as it is a product of a colonial, you can say, administration, particularly this discipline itself. But when the Europeans they come in contact with the particular the people of the African and Asian origin, they are little, they really surprised. Actually, the whole exercise of anthropology are deeply rooted with to understand others, or you can say that they try to establish from their own perspective humans versus lesser humans, humans versus its close relatives. So it is having a very different type of journey in 16th century, 17th century, 18th century, 19th century, 20th century, and 21st century. So accordingly, you will see that it's the historical development, it's the various branches and emerging trends, you can say, its relationship with the other disciplines. Then you will find that actually what are its contemporary applications apart from its traditional applications. So when you look at this discipline, it is as it deals with the biological aspects of human beings from an evolutionary perspective. Then you will see that actually it is having some overlapping areas with the life sciences, earth science or geology, zoology, botany or life sciences, and also you will find medicine, okay, forensic science. So you will find that it is having tremendous application. It's an area of research with respect to its scope today in 21st century is quite different. Now coming to this, where why it has started actually, and it is an inherent quality with all humans actually, uh, particularly when you will find that we are so inquisitive to know about ourselves right from what we are earlier to and why we are like today. So irrespective of the society, when you will find that every society has its you'll find it is a very typical to human to having the you will find an infinite curiosity to know about ourselves, and the scientific family and individual have been involved by the subject for many years. All the answers lead us to in-depth knowledge in the discipline of anthropology. So anthropology is a holistic in approach as it deals with the human beings all around the world and throughout time by examining the historical and present geographical situation and considering all aspects of human, both biological as well as social. So, as I've told you that actually, when with respect to there are four units. First unit is dedicated for its meaning and definition and scope. And when you speak about its meaning, physical anthropology means it deals with the physical aspects of human beings. So it is an important field of anthropology, and also you will find that it not only studies the present humans. You will find that whenever you go, wherever you find human beings, both past and present, and also in future also. So it primarily studies human origin and whatever the stages that took us to our present day form. All the answers leads to us an in-depth knowledge of anthropology, and as you know that anthropology is setting and man in its cultural context, who is ruled by manifested system of custom, attitude, and behavior. Anthropology present geographical distribution of human, both biological as well as social, or you can say cultural. So, in a broader perspective, it is comparative science of man. In the discipline of anthropology, you will find physical anthropology holds a very coveted position, and you will find that different scholars defines this. But sometime we'll come across also Friedrich Blumenbach, one German scholar, also is also considered the father of anthropology because both they come significantly as far as the this particular major domain or branch is concerned. So, Paul Broca actually he defines physical anthropology It is a natural history of genome, and more concretely, as the science whose objective is to study humanity as a whole in relation to the rest of the nature. So, Paul Broca is the first founder scholar of this particular branch, and similarly, another scholar is Hershkovich identified that physical anthropology is the study such matters as the nature of racial differences. So, physical anthropology, as the term implies, it studies physical, or you can say more descriptive characteristics of humans. When you will come in contact with someone, then what you will you notice? It's color, skin, height, all sort of things. So, this science starts with this to study about different types, forms, or description of human traits. So, Hosakaviti, one of the leading authority of anthropology, identifies that physical anthropology is the study of such matters as the natural of nature of the racial differences, the inheritance of bodily traits, the growth, development, and decay of human organisms, the influence of natural environment on man. Similarly, one of the 20th century scholars, Juan Comas, identified or defines it as a science which studies variation, comparative study of a human body, and its inseparable functions, exposition of the causes and courses of human evolution, transmission and classification, effects and tendencies in the functional and organic differences. Are you clear? If you have any query, you can ask me. As I have told you that simply can try to understand, it is a major subdivision of anthropology which deals with the physical aspects of man. When you speak about physical aspects of man, means you have to understand that different types, different forms, and different traits of humans with respect to time and space. Gradually, this particular branch engaged to study human variation in a broader sense, the diversity of humans and their distributions, their, and also the evolutionary journey. So, when you speak about anthropology, which is studying about the humans, it is not studying about the present human only. It speaks about both our ancestor in terms of its evolutionary past, and in future also. If you come across the presence of human in any other planets or anywhere in other than you can say planet Earth, then it is the interest of anthropology. So it is a science which primarily concerned about human in all aspects with respect to time and space. Broadly speaking, physical anthropology comprises of biological evolution, genetic inheritance, human adaptability and variation, primatology, and the fossil record of human evolution. Physical anthropology thus reflects an important scenario in today's increasingly specialized world of science. So this is a very emerging and growing area of research, be it your artificial intelligence, be it your Aadhaar card, be it your, you can say, forensic investigation, like personal identification, be it your issues relating to your body's type and disease and health issues, you will find that the application of this knowledge is everywhere. So, in this way, this particular branch has actually uh, its scope, which is actually expanding in a much faster way. Many also claim that the 21st century belongs to perhaps anthropology. So that's why I congratulate all of you, those who have opted this particular discipline, whether you are opted in any mode, but it is up to you that how you are actually going or accepting this discipline and how you are having the knowledge very, you can say, uh, when you will come across and when you are correlating your day-to-day activities with respect to the discipline, then you will find it will be very interesting for you. And coming to this, the discipline thereby facilitates us in investigation the source of variation, which are the result of genetic differences and environmental modification and the direction of change which originated in the past. So whatever difference we are observing among us, there you will find the major contribution will be genetic recombinations, and other part is your environment. And these perhaps arose over long span of time through evolution both among individuals and groups. So this very understanding of human organism is the strength of physical anthropology, and in today's increasingly specialized world of science, it constitutes an important perspective. The domain of physical anthropology is widespread, leading to into physicians' seminar, classroom classes, you can say, even in the casual conversation, endorsing its broad spectrum. Let us think that if I will ask you one question, whether the human body, you can say, weight will be increasing or decreasing, then most probably you will answer me that we are day by day, we are actually getting obese. But when you want to answer this particular question scientifically, then you have to depend on physical anthropology. When you will ask another question that whether our height is increasing or decreasing, because you will know that irrespective of society, everybody wants to become taller. So you will find that whether the height of human being in general as a species is increasing or decreasing. So there are questions where you need a solution, and if you want to answer those solutions, want to know about that solution, then you have to have an understanding about what physical anthropology means. So accordingly, the branches of you will find that anthropology in general and branches of physical anthropology in particular, it is primarily concerned about human and non-human primate evolution, the biological basis of. Samya sir, please mute your speaker actually. Samyaranjan Sahu, please mute because it's creating a lot of noise. Yes, thank you. No, it is still continuing. Samyaranjan Sahu, can you hear
Yes,
me?
sir.
Please mute your speaker. ଆପଣ ସ୍ପିକର ବନ୍ଦ କରନ୍ତୁ. Otherwise, it is creating lot of disturbance.
Yes, sir, sir.
Okay. So, when you speak about human physical aspect study, it will includes both non-human primates as well as human, because we are all belongs to order primate. Okay, that we will discuss in subsequent classes. What is the taxonomic position or phylogenetic position of humans in the animal kingdom? Okay, and who are our close relatives? Okay, so uh, as I have told you that actually uh, it is concerned with both human and non-human primate evolution, the biological basis of human behavior, and human biological variability and its significance. That is primarily referred to as biological anthropology, while physical anthropology largely in American and British concept. Okay. In most European and many other countries, physical anthropologists are the only one who are considered as an anthropologist, while other are referred to as an archaeologist, ethnologist, linguistics, prehistorian, depending upon the field of specialization. Okay. And when you see, look about origin and evolution of language that is now going on in our own state, you will find it is coming under linguistics, and you will find it an also a branch of anthropology is an overlapping areas. Okay. Now coming to the aim of this particular branch, Samyaranjan Sahu, ଆପଣଙ୍କର ସ୍ପିକର ପ୍ଲିଜ୍ ବନ୍ଦ କରନ୍ତୁ. ଶୁଣିପାରୁଛନ୍ତି?
Sir, some technical problem is there, sir. I am looking into the matter.
ରିକନେକ୍ଟ କରନ୍ତୁ.
Sir, sir.
ଅଦରୱାଇଜ ନଏଜ ବହୁତ ଆସୁଛି ମୋ ପାଖକୁ. The broad-based understanding of human origin, human organism is the strength of physical anthropology. Not only this, physical anthropology intricate biocultural studies of human diversity, the ancestor of human species, comparative anatomy, ecology, behavior, and human and history of primates. Physical anthropologists are interested in studying human genetics, growth and development, evolutionary history. They attempt to accurately describe how human physical structure, both past and present, and also investigate how functions and behaviors are integrated into the environment in which human being lives. So you will find that actually biology, culture, and environment interaction, putting human at the center with respect to time and space since our origin. When you look at the history and development of you can say evolution of a human, the ladder of humans, you will find that we have passed through various stages of our evolutionary journey, and the present or modern humans are the byproduct of our evolutionary journey. It is not like that we have just descended directly. So The common ancestors, from common ancestor to there is a divergence. One went to your monkeys and modern apes. Another is came to the modern humans. Okay, so as I have already told you that this particular branch is having very similarity with the human biology. Okay, human biology has many times been erroneously used as synonymous for physical anthropology, although there is a clear-cut area of both these fields. Human biology comprises structure and function of a contemporary man, while physical anthropology refers to all that is chronological, racial, social, and even you can say pathological grouping of humans. You try to understand that anthropology as a holistic discipline, you are having four major branches broadly. You will find that physical anthropology, which is now termed as biological anthropology, is having similarity with human biology. But human biology is a part of physical anthropology. Okay, because physical anthropology you have to study both human ancestor, present human beings, and also in future. You will find that today we are going to have an encounter with the artificial intelligence. With respect to human intelligence, we will have a virtual and the world is changing because of revolutionary you can changes in the information communication technology. And also when you speak about human biology, it is only speaks about the biological aspects of contemporary humans, its structure and functions with respect to physiology and various biological aspects. But when you speak out of physical anthropology, or which is otherwise known as biological anthropology, it study about the prehistory, or it studies about other aspects which are not primarily considered under human biology. So that's why human biology comprises structure and functions of contemporary man, whereas physical anthropology refers to all that is chronological, racial, social, and even pathological groupings of humans. They are very close kin, but yet they maintain individual identity in working methods, techniques, and objectives. One of the another distinction is that physical anthropology they study normally groups, not individuals. But in human biology, you can study individuals. So you can think about a physician when or a doctor, he primarily give emphasis on a patient, means an individual, not a group. Okay, it doesn't mean that they are not actually speaking anything about a population, but their interest is individual, not a group. Okay, coming to the scope, as I have told you that since its inception, you will find in 16th century when anthropology, Immanuel Kant actually when started Races of Mankind. So you'll find that since that day, anthropology is primarily understood as your physical anthropology. But then you will find there is a society established in Paris in 1859, that is a anthropological society where Paul Broca is the leading authority. There you will find that then you will find anthropology comes as an independent discipline. There you will find physical anthropology is a major domain, which is primarily talks about various human traits, characteristics which are descriptive, used for classification or typological purposes, or to classify mankind onto different races. Because the Europeans, they are from in India also we can see that the Portuguese came, French came, finally the British came, Dutch, French. So when they come in contact with these people, particularly the European, they expose themselves with the Africans, Indians, they were actually try to reconstruct or try to understand others from their own perspective. There we will come in gradually. We will have to discuss. There are two, you can say theoretical background, you can say theological, or you can say religious belief. One is monogenism, another is polygenism. So with this theoretical, you can say belief, theological belief, they try to look others, and finally they thought that actually others are lesser humans. They are the supreme creature of God, and the brown and black peoples are lesser. So they try to classify among them. You know about that one of them is leading authority, Carolus Linnaeus, who is known as the father of taxonomy or classification science. So the essence of physical anthropology, right from its inception, remain focused on man's physical character, their origin, how they evolved, and their development to the present state. That is, whatever we are today is the result of past and present conditions. Physical anthropology is widely accepted as the comparative science of man as a physical organism in context to his total surroundings, be it social or cultural or physical. because development of physical and cultural factor is reliant on the environmental. I have already told you that biology, culture, and environment, putting human at the center, you will find you can pick up any issue with respect to our food habits, with respect to our body structure, with respect to our disease profile. You will find that it is not alone only environment, only biology. Is a very complex interaction of all these factors what constitutes a human. And when you see from an evolutionary perspective also, you will find the similar phenomena. So in the earlier humans, human-like creatures, then humans, then modern humans, and so this is the things how our journey has happened over the years. What makes physical anthropology so indispensable? The answer lies in the very fact that understanding and assessing of a human, the degree of human variability, along with the accounting of factors responsible for our current distribution, have been of vital concerns. Major answers lies in the field of genetics and anthropometry, which has been used in approximating the causes of diversification and human variation. Now, coming to when you speak about anthropology, physical anthropology, how it is grew, I will try to narrate you that one is you will find in 19th century, 20th century, and 21st century. In 19th century, whatever knowledge we have happened in, means there with us in as far as biological science is concerned, we the anthropological, I mean the physical anthropology primarily concerned about comparative anatomy. That's why we are having osteology. We are having very little evidences about the revolutionary past, or you can say paleoanthropology. We can we studied ourselves, means human beings. When compared to any, when you speak about comparative anatomy, we often compare humans with the other human-like creatures, or you can say primates. So primatology. Then you will find that primatology, osteology, anthropometry, paleoanthropology, serology. These are the branches primarily. You will find classical physical anthropology. Then, with the arrival of genetics in 1900, you will find that there is a revolution happened as far as the physical anthropology is concerned. Everybody try to describe, or you can say classify humans with the help of genetics, and it continued till 1950s after the Second World War. Okay, then there is a lot of blame game started. So because of these exercises made in physical anthropology, particularly the scientific racism, so anthropology as a discipline and the exercises made in physical anthropology are in crisis. One scholar in 1953, it was Seward Washburn, introduced another concept that is known as a new physical anthropology. And when you talk about new physical anthropology, it primarily not speaks about human description. Human description means particularly when you speak about anthropometry and genetics, either you will describe that how many blood type of A, B, O, or AB type blood type humans are there in different part of the world, or how many hairstyle, how many, so different with respect to stature, color, types, morphological features. It is not merely the description, it is more explanatory, and you can give you can say some sort of a scope to understand why it is like broad nose, which one is the advantage, which one is the disadvantage, and how it has been developed over the years with respect to that environment. So that was the mid part of 20th century. And when we are having 1990 and 2001 Human Genome Project, things were completely changed now. It is much easier to pursue or conduct research on humans, and that's why you will find that the present day physical anthropologists are known as the biological anthropology. So, so things are changing today. The branches are no more confined to this osteology, anthropometry, primatology, serology, or you can say paleoanthropology. Rather, we are having more branches: human genetics, human biology, medical anthropology, physiological anthropology, anthropological genetics, nutritional anthropology, demographic anthropology. These are the branches that is emerged. You will find that within the domain of anthropology. So coming to that, one is it, that's why I have told you that two important things that is the very core objective of biological anthropology is to study human origin and its evolution. And the stage of evolutionary evolution, particularly the pre-human history of man to the present form, is the basis of primatology. Because you have to understand whatever living primates, when primate means I understood that living primates, the monkeys apes and humans. So various types of monkeys are there in different part of the world. And as you know that in Africa we are having, you have a gorilla, we are having chimpanzees, and chimpanzees are having very close, you can say, similarities with the present day humans among the living apes. Okay, we are, apart from this chimpanzee and gorilla, we are having orangutan and gibbons in Southeast Asia. So that will give you a lot of information with respect to our behavior, biology, genetics. So it is one of the major domain of physical anthropology. Primatology is the classical branch of physical anthropology. It also includes the study of human biology, including anatomy, physiology, and ethology, and undeniable in the contribution of primate paleontology on extinct primates. So when you speak about human evolution, you have to also speak about the direct evidences in favor of human evolution. One of the biggest, you can say, contribution is that the fossil records of both primates, including human and human ancestor. The entire phenomena tracing the origin of man and his evolution come under the paleoanthropology. So that is, these are all classic branch of anthropology, physical anthropology. Okay, appropriate evaluation of remains of fossil man in evolutionary outlook requires the contribution of comparative anatomy as well as embryology and developmental anatomy and physiology of growth. That's why I have told you that when you speak old physical anthropology versus new physical anthropology. In new physical anthropology, things are quite different. It is more applied oriented, and many more branches were evolved in 20th century. And 21st century is completely different. Human diversity, another important component of physical anthropology, takes into account human taxonomy, which is which in anthropological pursuit refers to the study of races. So it was decided to replace the term race with ethnic groups due to the misuse of the term, but then again the term is revived. I have already told you that from First World War to Second World War, or you can say the beginning of 19th century to 20th century, the Nazi Holocaust, you many of you witnessed that the Hitler, Nazi, and the experiments, the torture, that the because the way Hitler believed, you want to eliminate the all Jews and the Nordic or the true breed. Okay, so all these things were they made in Germany, and particularly the many experiments were made on black people, particularly women, children, and prisoners, and that leads to different type of you can say emergence of human rights or different code of ethics. So, and it was the whole blame game. Blame was given to the concept or the exercises made in race. So many people in 21st century, last page of 20th century, they believe that actually it is better not to use the term race. But in anthropology, the term race was never used beginning. It was a breed, stock. These are the terms were primarily utilized for to in order to describe others. But later on, the term race has its you can say central position, and people have started working on the racism or classification of mankind on the basis of various physical traits. Now, actually, in 21st century, when you speak about mass disasters or accidents or criminal investigation, personal identification is big challenge. And many of you are using thumb impression, eye positions in Aadhaar card. These are all byproduct this exercise. So that's why again it is reviving. So with the help of information communication technology, you can utilize better for human resource management. With the help of human, you will find that actually fingerprint identification, iris location. So now technology is so advanced that one can change his or her gender. Also, it is very difficult to identify a person. So personal identification in forensic science is a big challenge. Their whole knowledge is utilized. So that's why this particular field is having very, you can say, close, you can say, uh, connection with the uh, disciplines like forensic science. So the inclusion of human genetics as an essential component of physical anthropology has witnessed tremendous growth, even occupying place in a health magazine about a disease cell or gene therapy to treat disease. Human genetics, when you talk about the inheritance of traits of humans, particularly, uh, it is not that way the plant and animal genetics has grew in 20th century, but 21st century when you talk about human genetics itself is a emerging as an independent branch, and within human genetics, anthropological genetics plays in a very unique positions, and the mode of transmission of characteristics from parents to offsprings is giving a lot of informations. Now we can talk about many genetic traits with the help of various genetic markers, classical markers, and today also we are utilizing molecular markers. So whatever it may be, there would be undoubtedly so by be some information related to field of genetics. Pattern of inheritance of traits in humans have generated tremendous interest, and the assessment of distribution and the gene frequency of the trait form an important basis for evaluating the continuous process of human differentiation. So people are now talking about, uh, you can say, mitochondrial DNA, Y chromosome, so migration followed by mutation. So different today people are speaking about human evolution with the help of these molecular markers, and it has given is a, you can say that evidence that our home is Africa, eastern part of Africa. From there we migrated, and the Europeans who what they believe that they are the finest creature of God, that Europe is recently occupied, and the information on reoccurrence of a particular trait interest us a lot, like what would be the stature of a child born to a parent of average stature. The study of human genetics has facilitated for the treatment of genetic counseling to prevent recurrence of Downs and other syndromes. Human population genetic using mating pattern as a method contributes to the evaluation of inflow and outflow of a gene which are responsible for evaluation. What is the ideal age at marriage? Practicing cross cousin marriage. What is the bearing of cross cousin marriage on human population, or you can say expression of deleterious gene? What is the bearing of a parallel cousin marriage? What including you cannot understand. So you have to understand why South Indians are marrying among the close relative, cross cousin marriage. Why others marry in the parallel cousin marriage. So human mating system is very unique and very typical. And you will find there are polyandrous families. So polygamy, polyandry. So these are some of things. Similarly, another thing has started in Europe in 19th century, that is eugenics movement, euthanics and euphonics. So these are, and one of the leading authors is Sir Francis Galton. So you will find that these are the some of the development. It starts with it moves with anthropology has its own importance, be it be studying secular trend. I have already asked you that actually increase or decrease of weight in next generation. If I will ask you that a question that are you getting the population is getting obese, or simply a question that if the school children are the number of obese child, is the number is increasing or decreasing? A layman perspective, you can say that obesity is a problem. Obesity is increasing the population, but when I will ask you much, if the right-handedness is left-handedness is increasing, if the third gender population is increasing, if the height of human being is increasing, if the skin color is because everybody want to be, you can say, fair skin color. So is it it is changing? So you will see that actually lot of questions are there, which needs to be very systematically studied and answered. Okay, and stages of growth pattern of a population, factor affecting nutritional status, reproductive biology, population variation, reproductive biology, reproductive energetics. So these are some of the areas where you will find that these are all contemporary research, because we have limited our families. We are two, our two. China has introduced one child policy. Most of the Scandinavian countries are actually a negative population growth. So how to revert it? Can we can change the human behavior with respect to our reproductive behavior, and how what are the problems that we are encountering today? Every even recent budget also into give emphasis to that reproductive biology and vaccination for women, particularly um, in the early stage, girls will be vaccinated. So all this, why it is happening? So you have to understand from an evolutionary perspective. Okay, recent years have witnessed physical anthropology playing an undeniable service in the field of dentistry, medicine, and industrial research. So different type of designing equipments, garments. We are not now going to visiting tailor shop. We are now just whatever whenever we want, we can move any mall and the shop. We pick up shoes. You can say garments, whatever you like. So there are standards available, and these are all byproduct of this physical anthropology or racial studies. You can say that happened in the 19th and early part of 20th century, because every human population were measured and they we got an average. This clearly, this clearly is the reflection of the basic fact that whenever human body in part or whole needs any explanation, be it form or function or age changes, physical anthropology plays a very important role. So the scope of physical anthropology in the field of forensic science is also noteworthy. The various branches of physical anthropology, which especially forensic scientists arriving at a conclusion, are dermatoglyphics, osteology, osteometry, and that's why physical anthropologists are known as osteobiographers. They can read the bones. So you will find that also physical anthropology can able to identify that with 100% accuracy, if you someone will grind and paste in the wall also with from a fragment of bone, they can able to tell that whether it is a human or not. If it is a human, what is whether it is a male or female. If it is a male, and what is the probable age, its ancestry. So whole sort of questions were answered. So forensic anthropology is another branch within biological anthropology. Somatological knowledge plays an important role in interpreting the body type for different sorts or even in relation to specific disease. Nutrition and nutritional disorders, many of us, you know that we are undergoing frequent, you can say, fasting and also dieting. So eating disorder, bulimia, anorexia nervosa, these are some of the, you can say that uh, disease that you cannot study in isolation. You have to integrate your day-to-day, you can say, behavioral things with the biology, with the environment where you are born and brought up. Now, coming to the history, I have already covered many things. I told you that uh, you will find that 18th century physical anthropology uh, primarily answered this, primarily engaged to know about emergence of the scientific study of races, because it is not, it is anthropology is primarily a product of colonial administration. So the colonists, the Europeans, when they look in and come in contact with the other peoples, they thought that they are superior, other are inferior, and how to establish that. So they develop many tools and techniques. They want to record down. They devise many tools and techniques. And one of the leading authority in Germany is your Friedrich Blumenbach, 1752 to 80, and he is also regarded the inventor of craniology. So it is not external, internal. He studied the cranium or brain box, and also by reading the skulls, he classified people on the basis of Americans, Caucasians, Ethiopians, Malayan, and Mongolians, and put these Europeans as a Caucasian. They derived from Caucasus Mountain. They are the most beautiful creature in planet Earth. Similarly, you will find that in the same 19th century, you will find that James Pritchard actually opinion that the descendant of Adam, because their mind is always in their theological understanding about the common ancestor Adam and Eve. So that you can look from an monogenism perspective. Mono means a single, genesis means origin, or polygenesis, multiple origin. So they were confirmed in 19th century that they are the supreme creature of God, and the Africans, the Europeans, other are lesser humans. So how to, less to what extent? So they even sometimes people from Africa, they caught and displayed in cage in in USA, in different streets, and they earn money. So many episodes were happened. So the Martin Luther King, or you can say Nelson Mandela, you just see that these are the slave trade and you can say racism, that this the particularly these black people, they suffered a lot. And then these are the roots were started, perhaps the whole scientific exercise of races in the Western world, the way they look others. So Adam and Eve, it is their belief system. They are the from everything that developed from Adam and Eve, and accordingly they try to correlate and interpret their means others. With passage of time, all races would become similar to Western European. They believe the race that, in his view, had progressed further and more rapidly. So it was in the late 19th and early 19th century the proposal that race were polygenic. So earlier they thought that it is monogenesis or monogenic. Later on they thought that it is polygenic. So means different levels of different origin and different levels they are now. So this is getting a momentum in the scientific circle of Europe, particularly in France and America. The advocate of polygenesis were of the view that the extent of human diversity found could not be attributed to the opponents of polygenism, as the variation between the races are too much to be just a resultant of environmental difference or too great for humanity to be attributed to a single species. Similarly, the whole 19th till 19th century, people were primarily engaged uh, means to describe. Then anthropometry evolved as a tool and technique. So more scientifically, they want to study this. That is one of them authorities, Samuel George Morton, and as I have told in 1859, Paul Broca actually in France. It was studied anthropological society in Paris. Until now, you will not find anthropological teaching. Anthropology discipline has not yet emerged, but Anthropological Society of Paris and Paul Broca is also very good. You can say physician. He set up an anthropological laboratory and became the center for training for program for anthropologists. Broca followed the tradition of Samuel Merton. So scientifically, they want to means you can say establish where the black people will be placed, where the white people will be placed. So this whole exercise started in the mid to and end part of 19th century. And also, those who are student of biology might have heard about the name of Rudolf Virchow. Okay, he is also one of the authority. Is also in German tradition stress on the fact that variation observed in human forms is a result of environmental disease upon the human body and the lack of fit among race, nation, and culture. So always the blacks were placed lesser, the white were placed the higher. Okay, the American tradition focus upon the pacified or aboriginal Indian inhabitants of North America continent. So you'll find those who are student of history know about the pathetic story of North America, how it has been conquered. We often refer Vasco da Gama, we often refer Columbus, but prior to that, you will find many linkages were there. Many indigenous community, great civilizations were destroyed by these people, and that always try to bear in mind that they are the superior, other are the inferior. So Edward Tyson, a London physician, member of Royal Society, who started European primate studies and differentiated between animal, human, and monkeys by dissecting a chimpanzee. Because if you see that history of modern medicine, you will find human dissection is also not that easy, because uh, you cannot dissect a human openly. So you may have heard about the name of William Harvey. So the modern medicine that we are actually looking at, we look at today, that these are actually all development happened in the 16th, 17th century in the Western world. But prior to that, in India, we are having Sususa Samhita, but also Silpa Shastra. We do have our own tradition. But as we were governed and ruled by Europeans, we often, when we are reading physical anthropology, we primarily refer to this. But it is not like that. We do not have any sense or knowledge on this. We have our own very systematic understanding about human, because we are having 1,000-year-old monuments where you will find that human figures, sculptures also. Okay, now coming to 1859, once Charles Robert Darwin's book published, one of his followers is known as Thomas Henry Huxley. He has written a book in 1863, Man's Place in Nature. So he is the first authority where he not only followed Darwin, but also he got a comparative, give a comparative, you can say, uh, naming to, you can say, anatomical differences, like classification of men, or you can say placement of men in the natural world. And uh, and thus primatology focused on anatomy and looked for primate evolution from paleontological period. Similarly, Ernest Haeckel, many of you know that, who is, he is a main authority as far as concept of ecology is concerned, and published an encyclopedia of primate anatomy and came up with the first scientific phylogenetic tree. But in 18th century, the scientific name of human as a Homo sapiens was given by Carolus Linnaeus. Both Carolus Linnaeus, Frederick Blumenbach, all these scholars, they are staunch believer of existence of God, and they won't believe on change. They thought that everything is fixed. Okay, that you have to understand. So it was because of this effort that made us understand what we are today, with anatomy remaining the focal point until 1900. Subsequently, many things has actually evolved. You will find that the development of statistics and it will integrated with biology. Carl Pearson's, you know, that leads to the development of biometrica. Okay, and that also give establish when standard anthropometric, you can say, body measurements. Okay, and United States, after Civil War, that physical anthropology was a mystic medical specialist, but Franz was, who is often considered the founding father of American anthropology, an architect of today's phase of physical anthropology, who used his expertise measuring school children, collecting, because he left Germany and he was a Jew, and he is claiming that there is no scientific basis of race. And it was later on, because he introduced the concept of cultural relativism, but his study was primarily on human migration, growth studies, and he want to establish that the influence of environment on humans. Similarly, Alice Hadlika, a physician, studied physical anthropology in France, whereas Hutton, a classic PhD from the University of Wisconsin, then entered anthropology as an Oxford Rhodes Scholar. R.R. Merritt. Okay, so till you will find that Second World War, most of the anthropologists were primarily engaged to study the scientific basis of human race. So in middle of 1951, Houghton alumni Stewart Washburn discovered the field with the newer focus in physical anthropology. Racial typology studies took a backseat, and center was shifted to the study of human microevolution, distancing from classification, emphasizing evolutionary process and history. So this is one of the concept of new physical anthropology. So no more people have, after Second World War, no more interested about, they speak about the you can say classifications. So it is more applied oration, application or explanatory, you can say, basis. Similarly, when you look at branches and its development, I told you that the classical branches is paleoanthropology, primatology, osteology, serology. Okay, paleoanthropology deals with fossils, both primates or monkeys, pre-monkeys and monkey, apes and humans. Primate deals with the order primate, which includes both living and extinct primates. Similarly, osteology speaks about that is the bones, or you can say compared to anatomy, and similarly serology, serum proteins. So apart from this, we are having many more branches. These are human growth and development, particularly the process of growing to maturity. It's a biological term. So growth and development with respect to human body, starting from its early embryonic stage to, you will find that till your infant, childhood, and adult, adolescent, and old age. So this is one of the major domain of physical anthropology, and those who were engaged or specialized on this, you know about gerontology, oxology. These are some of the specialized field within human growth studies. And human genetics, now it is once upon a time it is a branch of physical anthropology. Now anthropology has its own branch that is known as anthropological genetics. And when you talk about human genetics, it involves the study of inheritance of gene unit of heredity, or inheritable or heritable, you can say inherited characteristics in human, how traits are coming from parents to offsprings. For example, there are traits which follow simple Mendelian principle. When you will visit any website, online Mendelian inheritance in men, OMIM, then you'll find a lot of genes. You will find or traits in humans. They are coming direct from parents' offspring, simply following the Mendel's principle. And just I have given you that actually height, left-handedness, you will find that web toes, extra digits in the finger, some of the traits. And when you talk about human genetics, it studies both, uh, you can say, normal traits as well as abnormal traits. But clinical genetics or medical genetics, they only speak about abnormal traits. And when you speak about abnormal traits, it is speaking about the human cytogenetics, that is the chromosomal aberrations, whether we are having normal set of chromosome or abnormal set of chromosomes, and that is primarily one of the domain of classical branch of human genetics. Similarly, I have already told you that primatology means not only you have to study only comparative anatomy, and when you talk about primate behavior, one of the important idea of investigation of primate is altruistic behavior or grooming. So putting oneself in danger, rescuing other is a very typical behavior. You will find among the primates, grooming is another behavior. So apart from gene, because when you compare the genetics or anatomical, the among the primates, among the living apes, the chimpanzees is having 90-80% affinity with mans, very little difference, and the divergence have happened roughly 20 to 10 million years before present. Similarly, human evolution, when you talk about human evolution, stages of human evolution, and people have actually very critical, and people, a layman normally understood that man has evolved from monkeys, but it is not the story. Man and monkeys are having common ancestry. When you look at this evolution of life, or you can say origin and evolution life, we are all come from a single ancestor, molecular logic of life. You can understand otherwise that if you go for a unicellular animal or amnioproteus, whatever that is required for the existence of amnioproteus is the same thing. When you go come for a complex animal, you need ATP, you need growth, you need reproduction, you need metabolism. These are the common phenomena, and you have a DNA. So in the lower grade animals, also in the same thing composition. So human evolution, when you speak, one is direct evidence, that is fossil evidence, that is paleoanthropology. But other aspect is that you will find that the anatomically modern humans, they are known as a Homo sapiens. Prior to humans, modern humans, we are Homo sapiens neanderthalensis, and then prior to that, we are having 2 million years before present, that is Homo erectus, Homo habilis, then Australopithecus. So these are the ladder of human evolution. And by reading and studying, what you will get with the human evolution, many people they talk. There are different type of arguments that still continue in part of 20th century, but 21st century is different. Many of you are aware that actually the Nobel Prize was given in 2022. That is Siben Pabo, and his work on human evolution. He is from Max Planck Institute of Evolutionary Anthropology. So you can go and have a check on your website. You will find. Similarly, human osteology. It is not only give only studying different type of bones, because modern man's occupation, modern man's sitting posture, and you can study one with respect to primate, one with respect to your changing way of living, and one respect with respect to criminal investigation, one with respect to war crimes, one with respect to disasters and accidents. So human osteology, when you are having understanding in anthropology, you will have to have I mean, say you can find is a you can say specialization in various fields. Coming to human ecology, uh, as the term it implies, study of surroundings or the interaction of humans with its surroundings. So it is very unique. We primarily speak about human adaptation. So adaptation means it is physical, physiological, developmental, and genetic. These are permanent changes. So human is the only species you will find their presence in all extreme environment. Man in desert, man in high altitude, man in water, man in trees, man in caves, men in. So wherever you go, you will find humans, and how human is able to survive in all adverse conditions, minus 50 degrees, 60 degrees temperature, plus 50 degrees centigrade. So we are having a constant body temperature, but in spite of that, also we are able to. You will find a human presence everywhere, and that is possible because of this bicultural adaptation. Okay, nutritional anthropology is another branch of physical anthropology, and it describes how particular socio-cultural factor plays people as a risk for nutritional disorder or identifying human problems related to nutrition. Nutrition means the process that of ingestion, consumption, you can say digestion, assimilation, and egestion, and it is uh, biologically and culturally determined. And the final is your molecular anthropology. As I have already told you that the molecular logic of life, we are having DNA and RNA, and from this DNA RNA through mitochondrial DNA, Y chromosome, we can able to trace our evolutionary journey. It is not only that we will only see the things, but we can at a molecular level, things are now having much easier. And when you are applying, or you can see your knowledge for in the court of law for criminal investigation purposes, you will find that it is forensic anthropology. And particularly forensic refers to the applications of field of medical jurisprudence, you can say, in the court of law. Forum means common place or marketplace, so you can apply the knowledge of what actually physical anthropology, when you speak about assessment of age, sex, stature, ancestry. So these are all the, and the causes and time of death. All this knowledge are having tremendous application in the court of law. That is forensic science and forensic anthropology. Anthropological genetics, you can see the change in gene frequencies with respect to populations over the times. So now we have experienced COVID. COVID has a different. So people, those who are having a particular blood group type, they are eliminated then when you compare with other blood types. Similarly, physiological anthropology, uh, it is related to body functions. People living in high altitude, people living in coastal regions are having different amount of oxygen. When you go to coastal, people migrate to high altitude, you will have a burden of oxygen, that is known as hypoxia. So how people adapt there? People are having alcohol from their childhood, though people are having, they are having a special idea of, you can adaptation. You can study physiologically as well as generically. Dental anthropology also give a lot of information about whether you are particularly bioarchaeologist. They studied in collaboration with the you can say from dental science experts, the structure of how our means the dental pattern has changed over the years. So we are now losing our wisdom teeth. So number of teeth are increasing or decreasing. Why we are having a omnivorous diet, and why our teeth were designed. Okay, so now industrialized processed food we are taking. So what is the necessity of teeth? So everything has been grinded before we are consuming. So when you look at these evidences from the archaeological site or from the scene of crime, because this is the most durable part of our body, whether it is a fossil, whether it is scene of crime, whether it is a bone case, you will find the evidence is your teeth. Okay. Similarly, anthropometry, that is the measurements of a human body. So Battalion is one of the authority who actually devised this technique. So body mass index is very important. You will find many more. You can say indices were devised. Quick, it will give you whether you are normal or underweight or you are overweight. Ergonomics, designing, you can say your, you can say e- equipments or you can say devices that fit for human body. Astronaut wants a different type, soldier wants a different type, computer, student chair table is different. So ergonomics or keen anthropology, these are some of the uh, you can say these are coming under this particular area. Human diversity studies, as I have told you that many people are very critical about why you will go on studying human diversities, but these are now having tremendous applications. So you have to discover, analyze, and describe not only fossil remains, but also you have to understand that why a particular disease is happening, whether it is what is paleopathology, paleodemography. So from his prehistoric time till date, you can able to understand and reconstruct it with respect to human populations. And primatology that we have already discussed primarily studies about the your the ancestors of non-human primates and their fossils. Population genetics deals with the frequency distribution of a gene, or you can say alleles. So you will find some population in Odisha also will having O positive are very common. Some population B positive are common. Why it is happening? So you will find that different evolutionary processes are operating and is fixing. Human variation, popularly you will find that variation is very typical to higher grade animals and that give more adaptive, different type of genetic recombinations and it will give an evolutionary advantages. So with this, I think that we have covered a brief idea about what physical anthropology means and what is you can say place within the discipline of anthropology. Then we have discussed about its gradual development, its branches. Okay. Now coming to its relationship. Okay. Uh, Coming to its relationship with science. So I have already told you that when you look at physical anthropology, why physical actually? Physical means it is not easy. Human dissection started in 16th century. So in captivity, we know about father of physiology because we discovered cell in 1600. Then cell theory come after 1838 to 39. So the long gap as far as cell then understanding. So you have to study only external. That's why physical anthropology. Then many people use the term human population biology, then human biology, then finally we are using the term biological anthropology. So as we are talking about biological anthropology, it won't talks about a individual, but primarily speaks about a group of individuals or population. Then it is having overlappings with many biological science disciplines. First is your forensic science, then life science, then medical sciences, then earth science and human biology, environmental science, and social sciences, human engineering and technology, physical sciences. So when you speak about forensic science means in the court of law, or you can say when you will apply your knowledge. Knowledge means knowledge of physical anthropology in the medical jurisprudence or in the court of law, then it is known as a forensic anthropology. What forensic sciences are having lot of branches. You will find that ballistic is there. You will find that you will find many more branches were there actually. The it is not that actually it's a very specialized field within science, and one of them is your that deals with the biological aspects, osteology or forensic anatomy. So there you will find that the contribution of anthropology is very immense today. So be it a case of suicide, which is a homicide, which is a murder. So whatever cases you will come, there you will find scientific evidences with respect to your fingerprints, with respect to your bones. So there you can able to identify the ancestry, the sex, or you can say gender, okay, age. So these are the whether it's a human or not. These are the some of the questions answered by physical anthropology. That's why you will find that forensic anthropology in University of Delhi, in Utkal University, you will find that the forensic science teaching is very much associated with the Department of Anthropology. So similarly, you will find that fingerprinting bureau. So we are now using digitalized biometric, but fingerprint has its history, and there are visible prints. You will find that latent prints. All were actually dealt in physical anthropology in detail, and the science also started in India in 19th century, and now with the help of computer science, we are enjoying. We are using for personal identification. So many lip prints, sole prints, palm prints. There are many prints, skin prints are there. So in physical anthropology, in a scientific racism study, we have already used. Similarly, body and tattoo marks. So you will find that today we are having various, you can say, uh, it is a crazy among the youths that we are using tattoos and tato and individual behavior is very strongly correlated. That has been established by psychologists. So by reading the tattoo and by the preference, you can read the mind and the origin of that particular individual. So anthropology is a place discipline where you will find that it is having a very tremendous, it is having a close connection with the forensic science. Similarly, when you speak about life science, two things will come. One is plant science, another is the animal science. And when you talk about plant science, you will find that ethnobotany. So how people, you will find that in you will find that humans, it's the evolutionary journey with the domestication of plants and animals, or you can say early agriculture, disease profile. Okay, so how will say that humans were evolved in Africa? You will find that the early human habitations were in Africa and Asia. The Europe is recently occupied. So agriculture is one of the best example. Insect borne disease, malaria, sickle cell anemia. These are the some of the very important clues. The different type of domestication of animals. You know that still we are using the term Bilati Baigan, means it has come from Bilat. So it is not having indigenous origin. So similarly, you will find that the plants, the animals, they will give you a lot of information with respect to our evolutionary journey, our adaptive strategy. Okay, so these are the some of the, and also you will find that the medicinal importance of various plants. Traditional knowledge system is now addressed everywhere. So indigenous knowledge, traditional knowledge system, that is a major domain of you can say ethnobotany. Similarly, animals also plant, apart from plant domestication of, you will find that also animal domestication mastered with the dogs. So dogs are happens to be the early archaeological evidence reveals that humans are having very strong association with dogs. Comparative anatomy, bipedalism, vertical idiot posture, okay, balanced brain, cranial capacity, all these things, knowledge will give you a lot of informations when you have an understanding on animal science as well as plant science. Similarly, medical science, when you talk about, it is also having a very close proximity and enjoy a very close inter and transdisciplinary relationship. So particularly uh, when you speak about medical sciences, physical anthropology significantly contribute in investigation the nature and extent of various diseases. Like as I have given one, that genetic disorders, particularly sickle cell anemia, thalassemia. So all this you will find that it has its evolutionary origin. Similarly, you will ask the question that why so much people are suffering from cancer and diabetes today, cardiovascular disease. Is it will eliminate the entire humanity? Then things can be understood from an evolutionary perspective. Okay, so not only this, but also growth studies relating to the their pattern, growth trends, abnormalities, and environmental effects are also assessed by physical anthropologists in the breakdown of medical sciences. So whenever we are approaching any physicians, he will ask you your body weight, body height. He will take various type of physical, you can say parameters. Then he will try to diagnose the disease, then prescribe the medicine. So medical science, in additions, includes subjects like physiology, which is the study of functions, and biochemistry, the study of chemistry of living structures. Okay, which are the actually basis of medical science. But when it applied to human body, so particularly field of anatomy, morphology, growth, health, biochemistry, particularly these are all overlapping areas. You will find that very difficult when you think at a point that anatomy versus physical anthropology. So when you are talking, when you are looking at this osteology, so another important is area studies that your earth science or a geology. So when you speak about the paleoanthropology, there you will find that also paleopathology, paleodemography. So prehistoric, if you want to have a disease, you want to know that whether it is there in the prehistoric past. So different layers of earth will also give different type of informations about us. So origin, the evolution of a planet Earth, origin and evolution of a humans in our planet Earth. Then you will find that so it will speak about 65 million years before present, 20 million years before present, 2 million years before present, 10,000 years before present. What are the possible type of environment? And so these whole informations about our Earth and its journey will give us a lot of informations. Why you will get so much fossils from Africa, not from India? Why? So these will be answered by our sciences. So the type of fossils, or you can say the fossilization process, and with respect to, so you will find that geochronology, you will find that stratigraphy, paleontology, these are all major domain of geological science or earth science, where you will find that the, particularly the physical anthropology, geology, they work together in order to, whenever they will come across any archaeological sites or fossils, they exchange their ideas and views, and in order to reconstruct the evolutionary past. As I have already discussed about the human biology, is now in particularly in Punjab University, the physical anthropology department is converted to human biology. In Andhra Pradesh, Andhra University, the physical anthropology has been developed in a human genetics department. So you will find that the branches, physical anthropology branches, were now emerging or converting to a separated discipline itself. And human biology, as I have already told you, that uh, it, today's it is also multidisciplinary, you can say, but it has its own boundaries. Unlike physical anthropology, which speaks about the environment, society, culture, prehistory, that you will not find in human biological understanding. Environmental sciences, as you talk about, also very important correlation. We have already studied that the when you speak about environmental science and anthropology discipline, uh, both are actually the uh, you will find that actually closely connected. We are having ecological anthropology. We are having the concept of cultural ecology. So culture is the master variable. So when you talk about culture, it's the man-made part of environment. And when you speak about the human as a species, his adaptive strategies are very distinct or unique when you compare with plant and animals. And in our school education, we normally, when you studied about different type of environment adaptation, we were not normally given reference to plants and means animals. But the human adaptation to cold, heat, and you can say the various type of you can say extreme environmental conditions, and man is overcoming with this because of its tool that is known as culture. And with the help of culture, we are having so many things. With we are having dress patterns, you can say clothings, foods, shelters, and these all give us. You cannot compare with the Eskimos, with the Maasais of Sahara Desert. Their body constitution, their food habits, their rites, rituals are quite different. So, but we are all humans. We are not different. So so that is the unique when you speak about this relationship of environmental science and physical anthropology. You will find they are very closely connected, and one of the major domain of studies, that is ecological anthropology. And particularly anthropologists, those who were engaged to study man in extreme environment. Particularly this project was started in 1970s and 80s, biosphere project. And there you will find that actually people have studied people, means those who are living in rivers, those who are living in sea water, those who are living in caves, those who are living in mountains. 25 million people are living in high altitude. From we are living in the coastal area. When we will shift ourselves to the Ladakh or Tibet, we cannot tolerate because the type of oxygen load that we will have to encounter. So similarly, Sherpas are climbing Everest even with less support of oxygen. So this make us that uniqueness. And finally, how it is related with the social sciences. And when we talk about social science, means uh, it is well, you will find that anthropology is a holistic discipline. That is the beauty with anthropology. I have told you that the human mating system, institution of marriage or in family. So when you look at this, you will have to study the institution of marriage, both culturally as well as biologically. Culturally, you will see that we have limited our families. Amadui, Amar Dui, Amadui, Amar Ek. Then at particular time, you will find that we are two, but we do not have anything. Can you revert it? So it is impossible. So that is exactly encountered by China today. China introduced one child policy, but now he is promoting to go for three child. Europeans are have already negative population. Japanese are having another problem. So this is one example how society, culture, and human behavior were actually having its bearing as far as its biology is concerned, as its performance is concerned. Similarly, many issues are there with respect to energetics. With the you can say. Um, you can talk up also from an evolutionary perspective, from an archaeological point of view, how things were grew over the years. Okay, so the final one is human energy engineering and technology. So ergonomics is one of the branch, as you all know that the anthropometric exercises were made, particularly designing equipments, and you will find that various equipments used for different type of you can say setup where is an integral part of you will find that particularly uh, how it will be suited to the living humans when so anthropological data are having immense utilized. So one is your biometrics. One example I have given you that this information communication technology integrated with your fingerprinting data. So we have developed the biometric attendance. So people are also they wear this. So we are having iris, voice. So these are some of the things that you can see that one way this. Second thing that various equipments. So aviation industry is increasing. So the sitting arrangement in the high speed bullet trains the is quite different than you will find normal trains. So sitting ergonomics that is used in even aircrafts, and also physical sciences like uh, that is the inorganic worlds. Okay, so when you look at the origin and evolution, it is no more confined to that actually where humans come from monkeys. We will find that our first common ancestor, so it will find that nitrogen, hydrogen, carbon, oxygen, then you will find that the arrival of RNA, then DNA, then unicellular animal, then multicellular animal, then invertebrates, vertebrates, then humans. So here you will find that when you speak about human evolution, you have to we have a whole range of you can say uh, uh, understanding about the about the physical world. So that will give us an means information. So it is overlapping with the physical science, social science, engineering, medicine, life science, forensic science. So when you speak about physical anthropology, today's physical anthropology and its relations with the other disciplines, it is the bond is very now means it is very strong, and they are interdependent with each other. They exchange their ideas and their knowledges and findings, and they are now that is used for you can say you can say um, for the welfare of mankind. And your last two blocks are on application of knowledge of uh, uh, physical anthropology for the welfare of mankind. There again, you will find that applied physical anthropology, designing equipments, forensic anthropology, epidemiology, aging, sports, public health, nutrition anthropology in the first segment. As I have already discussed about the meaning of physical applied physical anthropology. Try to understand this is the application of knowledge of physical anthropology for the welfare of mankind. Okay, that is known as applied physical anthropology. And second thing, when you talk about the thrust area for physical anthropology, is to construct an explanatory framework for the many physical and behavioral traits of a human species within evolutionary and environmental context, and to seek a way to maximize their functions. So designing equipments, as I've already discussed, it is application starts with the Second World War, because First World War. So one of the most momentous application of anthropometry in designing of defense equipment, which dates back to World War II, which is the contribution of physical anthropology as the expert of human anatomy. Another noteworthy application is the flight clothings. So anthropologists have been contributed to the provide sculpture carved wooden head form in four statistically devised sizes. So in 1942, anthropometry application was exploited by field of human activists to improve work efficiency by reducing discomforts of the people. So these are the you can say uh, when you speak look at these applications historically, at various phases, the knowledge of anthropology has been used in designing equipments. Similarly, forensic anthropologists have told that C.C. Snow in 1972 is the authority who actually bring this knowledge of anthropology for how you will apply the knowledge of physical anthropology, that is the study of osteology, okay, uh, able to contribute considering the field of crime investigation, and that is the uh, particularly identification of decomposed and mutilated bodies, because once the body uh, after death the body lost its soft tissue, the first challenge will come to us is that whether it's male or female, because as long as the body carries the soft tissues you can say that it's a male and female. Once it is decomposed it is very difficult to identify the male and female. So there you'll find that the journey of physical anthropology starts. So they are then this forensic science anthropology, forensic anthropological knowledge were used in that bombardment happened in the United States recently, means a few decades back actually. That is the World Trade Towers. Okay, so in a disastrous accidents, so very you will find natural calamities when you come across with human bodies or remains. And one of the most application is that Rupkun, actually one of the professor from Deccan College Physical Anthropology Bolivia analyze that. So bioarchaeology, osteobiographer, and application of this forensic, even also uh, one professor from University of Delhi, and currently one of the leading authority, Keval Krishnan, is from Punjab University, leading authority of forensic anthropology is concerned. In our department, we did some work on analyzing the fossil, means skeletal remains. Okay, in Utkal University. Similarly, epidemiology, when you talk about disease, uh, means health and longevity. Okay, it is primarily depend on heredity and environment. Diseases revealed the area of, so you will find the disease transitions when you talk about the hunter-gatherer society and their disease profile, agriculture society, their disease profile, and the industrialized society there, and we are living in a globalized society. So it will have a, you will find that the disease transitions. Okay, we have encountered this Spanish flu exactly after 100 years in you will find that 2019 we encountered the COVID. So again, you will find that this epidemiology, disease, and its evolution, and its so you will find that anthropologists plays a very important role, particularly biological anthropologists. They will give you a evolutionary, you can say, background of a disease with respect to populations. And as industrialization is coming, so you will find that small societies, simple societies are getting transformed because of changing their livelihood, and you can say, so as a result there are diseases which are not earlier found are now very common in those communities. So that way you can also study disease transitions. Similarly, aging, so that is it. I have told one is the oxology with respect to growth and development, another is gerontology. That is it. So probably India is also going to encounter this very soon. Already countries like Japan, Germany, they have already experienced the burden of aged population. With the help of modern medicine, we can able to enhance our life expectancy. But what is the bearing of this enhanced life expectancy? Are we are prepared for to carry the burden of uh, you can say aged population? So the answer will you will find that we are not yet prepared. But many demographers, population scientists, they are predicting that India is going to face a critical situation. What Japan is also encountering, China is also encountering. So you will have to have an understanding about this, not only the biological aspects but also the social and cultural aspects with respect to aging. Sports, and you will find kin anthropology, anthropology in motion, or you can say you will find that there are in India you will find that anthropologists were also interested or engaged to uh, particularly to identify for the selection of a good athlete. So you will gradually will learn in future classes that how different body morphs and different type of sports activities were there. and that is highly correlated. Ectomorph, mesomorph, endomorph. Okay, so what should be the body count? Who will perform well in a, if it is a athlete or if it is a sports activity? So they were primarily physical anthropologists were invited uh, uh, are engaged. That is one of the field is that kin anthropology or motion. Okay, so in different sports teams or in training centers in Punjab and also in Odisha also you will find many people were engaged. Particularly they study the athletes or the sports persons, how to improve their better performance and how to select choose them who will is most suitable for that particular sports or activities. So that can be done with that is having tremendous application as physical anthropology is concerned. And public health and availability and access to healthcare facilities. You will find that actually most of the public health programs today are failed because people living in difficult area or hard to reach areas were not addressed properly. So you will find that the type of healthcare needs vary from community to community. Even within the state, within the city, you will find people living in slum areas, people living in apartments, people living in congested areas also. There are different disease profiles, different health needs were there. So you will find that people live in rural areas as compared to urban areas. So you have to understand that high resistance tuberculosis, what are its causes, high resistance malaria. So with the help of physicians, anthropologists, particularly medical anthropologists, they are primarily working on this and they are also taking the advantage of anthropological insight, uh, how people are having or coping with this different diversity. Sometimes you will find the concept of illness, disease, sickness vary from person to person or community to community. So what is disease for one person is not a disease for another person. So you have to find out the cultural gaps. Similarly, nutritional anthropology, when you speak about it, is speaks about your ingestion, consumption, digestion, assimilation, and digestion. So, what is food? What is food for one community is not food for another community, and the process of eating. So, we cannot take food being an Indian with a chopstick. So, why? How the Chinese are comfortable with the chopsticks? So you will find that actually the way things are moving, water rice, cod rice, or you can say millet mission today. So you will find that what is good for us actually. One way that the impact of globalization. Morning we are having a food from Italy, and the evening we are taking something from you can Tibet, Momo, and also the things. It is happening because of technology and globalization. But what is the bearing our in our body physiology? The processed food and the salt as a preservative and the consumption of powdered sugar. There are so many things are there where you will find that when you compare with the simple society, hunting gathering society, then you will able to understand that what is the bearing of this food and nutrition in this so-called advanced and civilized society. So there are uh, these are the some of the applications that you will find, that is in nutritional anthropology, public health. Then you have sports, edging, epidemiology, forensic anthropology, and your designing equipments. But when you look at the most advanced technology in the field of biological sciences, then you will find that three, four things are coming. One is your paternity diagnosis, genetic counseling, eugenics, DNA technology. DNA technology primarily revolutionized our understanding about the human, because most of this research in 19th century were actually uh, uh, primarily confined to humans because of restrictions that it is not possible to conduct the way as far as genetics is concerned. Plant science and animal genetics were actually easier, so you cannot do experiment on humans actually, but now it is possible. It is human participation is not required. So that's why we are having lot of, it is a post genomic era. So as you all know that uh, in general we are having 23 pairs of chromosome and 22 autosome and two X and Y chromosome. The X chromosome comes from mother to children. transmit that to the next generation. So there is a line on matrilineal. Another is that the Y chromosome which carry the information which determine the sex, whether it will be male or not. So that it comes only through Human Genome Project. So we are able to not only reconstruct our evolutionary past, okay, so but also we are able to you can say forensic science. You will find that often you come across that there is a baby exchange. This is happening in the all medical colleges. That the nurse, the doctor. So depend on blood groupings, or you can say ABO blood typing. So ABO. So if the parents are having a particular blood type, then there is a means jurisprudence. It is a very weak evidence, not a strong evidence. But today we are having DNA evidences. So now you will come across that Narendra Triwari, the then governor of Andhra Pradesh, you might have know about him, his case, and he is having a child. He was not accepting, but ultimately honorable court has given the direction. So you will undergo DNA fingerprinting, and that confirmed. And here again he ritually confirmed that he is the biological parent is that same person. Similarly, baby exchange swapping, that is paternity dispute, is now established with the biological father. So it comes with 99.9% means accuracy. So how it is happened? DNA, the you will find that inside the nucleus you have a so a cell constitutes cytoplasm and nucleus. Within the nucleus you have a nucleic acids, and these nucleic acids are two type. One is DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, and another is ribonucleic acid, and they are made up of purine and pyrimidine bases, nitrogen, and pentose sugar and phosphate. So this is a double helical structure, but it is a you can say circular DNA in mitochondria. It is found both in nuclear, in the WBC, in the blood cells. Okay, so it is one of the strongest evidence when you talk about this through DNA fingerprinting or DNA profiling that you can see. Another is a genetic counseling. So genetic counseling means it is the process by which patients or relative at risk of a particular disorder are advised of the consequences of the disorders. So you will see often come across that what is the ideal age at marriage. Early age marriage is a danger, means not good. Even delayed age at marriage is also not good. So what is the bad? What will happen when you someone marry? So what where is the risk of having the deleterious gene or a baby which will not normal if there is a delay in the age at marriage? So that can be answered through if a couple want to have a child in the later stage of life, then that can be done with through genetic counseling. You will find that today things are changing very rapidly because of assisted reproductive technology, and that revolutionized the reproductive means, technology, that is biobanking. So you can keep your reproductive cell in a bank. Whenever you want, you will have a baby. You can know about surrogacy. So these are all can be done with the help of a counselor. They are not a genetic counseling. Okay, so you want to know that whether I will have a baby or not. If that baby I will have at a later stage of my life, whether it will be free from any disease or disorders, all this can be answered. Okay, with the help of genetic counseling. So genetic counseling done in various ways, as it is necessary to identify the people suffering from a genetic disease. Okay, if the first child is suffering, what is the probability that the second child will have or not? Okay, or else, as I have told you that you don't have any child, but you want to have a child, but if you are conceived that mother will have any difficulties or having any possibility of, so what type of consultancy and what type of counseling he or she is required when with respect to particular genetic disorders. There are diseases like sickle cell anemia, there are diseases like thalassemia, there are diseases like phenylketonuria. Okay, there are things which are coming from parents to offspring, there are things which are the first time identified. So you will go for amniocentesis. You will find that coronic village sampling. There are so many techniques are there which are primarily means studied, and the risk has been given to the concerned patient. So accordingly, he or she will take the decision. So termination of pregnancy will be allowed as per the law or not. if someone find there is a one the mother carries the baby or having some sort of disease or disorders. And the last one you will find that the eugenics, I already told you that is introduced by Francis Galton in 1883. And to improvement of human population, there is a positive eugenics and you will find that negative. So positive eugenics means it will only how to best will be given, means encouraging early marriage. Okay, so delayed marriage will give you problem, so encouraging early marriage. To fund the fit means those who are fit, sound, good, well, they will only promote to go for the procreate child. And education, fitness and education, wastage of germ plasm. Okay, um, so these are some of the genetic counseling, ecological surrounding improvement, encouraging of genetic research. So these are some of the things that has been actually given, uh, that comes under the domain of positive means genetics. But negative eugenics hoji you forcibly sterilization. You find someone is having disorder or defective, so he should not procreate. So sterilization. Then immigration is control, sexual disconnect connections. So marriage regulations. So these are some of things that ugly means deformed disease should not be allowed to continue. DNA technology and use in disease and medicine. This is a very you can say advanced area, and it is particularly in the field of medical or clinical genetics. It overlaps with biotechnology, bioinformatics, and also molecular anthropology. So when you talk about it is happening because of this emerging technology happened in 19 after the discovery of biological macromolecule 1953. Then you will have this restriction fragment length polymorphism. Then you have this very good techniques that recombination DNA technology, that then you find that polymer chain reaction, and you will find that sequencers. So these are many techniques developed in the later in the last phase of your 20th century, that leads to development of this DNA technology and used disease and medicine. Gene therapy, so you will find that means a test tube baby, uh, um, and also you will find that gene therapy, stem cell therapy. So these you will have to target that particular gene and you have to treat. So similarly, um, producing hormone and proteins. The insulin is one of the best example. So in the producing production of vaccines, recently we have experienced how plenty you have means produced vaccine against a particular disease, and diagnosis of infection disease. So you will find that this present actually molecular anthropology, but means knowledge is uh, widely used actually in the field of molecular biology. And one of them is that people are also working in ancient DNA analysis. Okay, so um, many fields, particularly why you will able to identify that those populations who are actually living in a very close proximity, very inbreeding is very common. You will find that genetic disorders are there. How to means means give the proper kind of education, that how they will overcome. So they normally needs the help of anthropology, particularly the biological anthropological understanding. So different populations, different type of diseases, and their molecular footprints can be established. Okay, so diagnosis of infectious diseases, tuberculosis is one of them. I have already given you that high resistance tuberculosis. There are people are still studying. Similarly, AIDS, prenatal diagnosis, uh, understanding the molecular basis of disease like sickle cell anemia, thalassemia, familial hypercholesterolemia, hypertension, cystic fibrosis. So there are diseases which are actually population specific. They are found in very specific population. That knowledge can be given to those in that area, because there are two groups. One is in the field, another group in the laboratory. So the field information can be mostly collected by biological anthropologists, were shared to the uh, other experts, and they together work on this. So with this, actually, as I have told you that the present day uh, physical anthropology, which is known as biological anthropology, is primarily you will find that it's growing very fast. There are areas like one is genetics, another is forensic. This last segment is primarily dedicated to your paternity diagnosis. You will find both in genetics, it overlap with the forensics, and the things that people, whether you know or do not know about this, then there is a things happen. They are shouting that go for DNA testing. This DNA testing, why they are people are shouting for DNA testing? Because it is having a strongest evidence in the court of law as per Evidence Act. Similarly, genetic counseling is very important. We are now highly qualified, highly educated, and more we are aspiring. Actually, we cannot leave the job, so we are highly paid. So in that case, we are also aspiring to have a baby. So maternity leave dispute, you will find paternity leave dispute one way, and now you will find that. There are disputes also. There are also government is also thinking about whether you will give particularly women that those who are in the time of periods, monthly periods, whatever leaves that should be available or not available. So you will find that different type of in one way you will find that biology, gene, genetics, technology. Another way society, ethics, whether you have to do or you have not to do. So and one is you will find there are certain things with respect to populations. So that is the main things that that's why this particular field's knowledge, physical anthropology knowledge, is having tremendous application in the field of paternity diagnosis, genetic counseling, eugenics, and DNA technology, and particularly in the field of disease and medicine. So with this, I think that I gave some idea about this particular your block, that is on uh, the meaning and scope of physical anthropology, its branches. Then we talk about the relationship. Then we talk about the applications in 2 volumes. And you are having any questions, you can ask me.
Thank you, sir. It was a very descriptive and interesting session.
Yes, please.
Um, yeah, sir. Sir, you were discussing about the marriage related kind of practices. How does
Yes.
the marriage as well as the career has been creating troubles in the taking a decision related to maternity and kind of aspect, no?
Yes. Look
Uh,
at actually, as you have raised a very is important issue for a student of anthropology, you will find that actually you try to understand from an evolutionary perspective, institution of marriage.
right, sir. Mm.
Culturally accepted, they will go for multiple even also single marriage. But if you try to look at it in evolutionary lens, then you will see that why monogamy is the most common form of marriage. Try to understand why patriarchy is the most common form of practices as far as the inheritance of property and all sort of things among the humans. In that sense, you will find that when you speak about the human mating system, monogamy is the most common form, not the polygamy. Why not? It is polygamy, not only monogamy. One way this.
Right, right.
Second thing that with respect to the emerging technologies, when you talk about assisted reproductive technology, now we are having what happened actually in 21st century. We are having medical science is so advanced that we can now keep our reproductive cell in a being a man or woman. I am visiting a salon and I am putting my hair. It is now selling. I have given my blood. He is selling or he utilized for some. I have given for social service. So bio banking, bio capital, bioinformatics, bio networking. Okay, you do not know what is happening when you are visiting a doctor. Is collected your different samples from your body, whether utilized only for diagnosis or some other purposes. So ethics at LC, that is ethical, legal, and social issues are a big problem, and that exactly happened with the, you see that most of the movies. in 21st century after Human Genome Project in 2001 relating to surrogacy. The couple from Korean, because Sri Lanka, India are heaven, rented womb that is known as, and you will find that the Korean couple they decided and having a surrogate mother from Mumbai, and once the baby was born, they are separated. Nobody comes to receive the baby because there is an agreement that the woman will have to return, means after delivery that baby will be returned to that and ultimately the grandchild actually after the death someone will have again a baby. So what will happen, because it is just artificial fusion of male and female gametes in a laboratory, and it will give implanted in another woman and they will have another child. So at the age of 80 someone will have a grandchild, and what is person will again and it will rewrite out the way we have thought. So emerging reproductive technology is a big aspects. Cross cousin marriage, parallel college marriage, or you just see that among the those who are following Islam, you will find parallel cousin marriage is very common in the entire South India, starting from Odisha, southern part of Odisha to South India. Cross cousin marriage is common. Uh, Actually, why Indians marry, mostly Indian marry arranged form of marriage, only looking at the biology and genetics. You have seen from an evolutionary perspective, you have seen from a variation with respect to that particular institution, and you also see the trajectory of change happening. Dibbe, are you getting?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am understanding. Yes, sir.
Okay. So human behavior, that is that's why we call it a biocultural co-evolution. It is not biological evolution alone. You will have to see both biologically and culturally we evolve. Okay. And culture is
Yes.
the master variable, which actually allow us to survive in all adverse conditions. What is right and wrong is not easy to say with respect to human behavior. So you will see that it is wrong, and the way you are born and brought up, you have been socialized. You will see that it is right and wrong for with respect to that culture, which has been advocated by Francois cultural relativism. No culture is
Right.
superior, no culture is inferior. That's why anthropology study small societies, not complex societies. In order to understand the complex societies, cultures, to know about the simple societies. Okay, so if you want to show about why there is a incidences of sickle cell anemia in African population and Asian populations, then you have to see your evolutionary journey. So who we are, where you have come from. So the anatomically modern humans origin, evolution, and its migration and the evolution of agriculture. Okay, so these are some of the things that you have to understand.
Yes, sir. Yes. Yeah, I'm getting the point. There is one more concept recently I heard that like double income couples without
Yes.
children. Some, yeah.
So look at
So,
actually my concern is that actually
yeah.
what we promoted actually India is a claim that 1952 under Sanjay Gandhi we have actually adopted the first country in the world who introduced family planning. But India has never adopted the way China has adopted one child policy that rigorously. We only advocate Amadui, we are two and our two children. Okay,
Yes, yes.
then we have introduced green card holder, but we are unable to reduce our means you can say that sex ratio, the means the healthy sex ratio that the way it is supposed to be. That's why we have ultimately reached at Betty Bacha, Betty Padhao କାର୍ଯ୍યક્રમ and all sort of things. But the important aspect is that actually when once human behavior changed, it is very difficult to gain back into track. Our parents are having number of children, we have limited our child number, we are having one or two child, next generation will have no child. Now assume that after that if someone wants to have more child, at the population level it is not possible. Exactly same problem is encountered in China, same thing happened in Japan, same thing happened most of the Scandinavian countries including Germany. So you will have a population who are aged, and you will have a population who are more dependent, they are aged populations. So what is the advantage in in global perspective as far as India is concerned today? We are having a youth population and working populations. Okay.
Right, right, right.
So it is about human behavior. It is about human. That's why we anthropology you will find it a discipline placed in humanities, social science, as well as in biological science. If you want to like to pursue a career in because there are people working on taphonomy, how the dead bodies are decomposed. You will find that it is strongly associated with the crime and disasters
Mm.
and all sort of things. It depends on which area you want to explore.
Right,
Yes.
sir. Right, sir. Yeah. Thank you, sir, for clarifying the doubt.
Thank you
It's
very
very
much.
interesting. It's very interesting, your lecture, sir.
Anybody who want to have any query or any clarification? So thank you very much for your patience hearing. So probably I will take next lecture. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.